Hi, my name is Andy, and in this short presentation, I'm going to give you an overview of Discover Conversation, the new coursebook for speaking classes published by Halico. Now, before I begin, let's look at a typical conversation that could come from an opening unit of any typical EFL speaking book. Hello, my name is Mike. What's your name? Hi, my name is Jennifer. It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. But what is wrong with this? Well, for one, it's scripted. Real life conversation doesn't really work this way. In real life conversations, there are false starts, hesitations, overlaps, pauses, and when we meet someone for the first time, we often don't introduce ourselves till later on in the conversation. So, how is Discover Conversation different? We'd like to claim that Discover Conversation has near authentic conversations. Let me explain what I mean by near authentic. Each of the 12 units features a conversation that is central to the learning objectives of that unit. To get these conversations, we gave actors a situation. For example, you see a friend in the corridor at university. You're in a bit of a hurry, but you want to invite your friend to go somewhere on the weekend. The actors then perform these situations without a script. We recorded them and transcribed them. We then analysed each conversation for moves being semantic and functional pieces of discourse. We did edit the conversation slightly. We edited for length if the conversations were too long, and we sometimes changed the lexis. For example, one of the conversations had the word shawarma, and we thought that would be quite unusual, so we changed it to pizza. But as far as possible, we retained the authentic flow of the dialogue. We then went back to the recording studio with voice actors to replicate these dialogues for the final audio of each unit. Of course, we cannot claim that the conversations are authentic. It is impossible to get 100% authenticity in the classroom, apart from when you say, turn to page 57. However, we can claim by using unscripted dialogues that the final result is a book that introduces students to the unique features of spoken language and has conversations that are much more authentic in nature than regular speaking coursebooks. So let's take a look at what's in Discover Conversation. As you can see, the book covers 3 types of conversations and has 12 units. The 3 types of conversations are small talk, the short conversations we use in daily life to keep positive relationships with our friends and family. Transactions, short conversations in which we wish to achieve something. There is a function to the conversation, there is a purpose. Storytelling, longer conversations in which we tell a story about our lives to an active listener. For a teacher looking to use this book with their students for a 1-year course, I think you could cover units 1 to 6 in the first semester and units 7 to 12 in the second semester. One unit would then take 2 classes to cover. You could have an introduction class, midterm test, and final test. Alternatively, you may wish to use this book for a 1-semester course and move more quickly through the units. Okay, let's take a quick look through one of the units of Discover Conversation. I'd like to take a look at Unit 4, which is the first of the 6 transaction units in the book. As mentioned, the conversation is the core input of each unit. So to prepare students for the listening of the conversation and for them to predict and or preview the language, the content, the functions within the dialogue, Section A is called Thinking About the Situation. It has a picture or a series of pictures connected to the dialogue. Here, students are going to work together to predict what the main characters, Mike and Jennifer, might talk about in the conversation of the unit. Here in invitations, the question is, where do you think Jennifer will invite Mike to? And the picture of the giraffe should help students guess she's going to invite him to the zoo. As mentioned, each unscripted dialogue was broken down into discrete moves. In section B, Building the Conversation, students work through a series of short tasks to practice each of the moves. The examples provided are usually taken from the dialogue that students will listen to in section C. Section B provides students with the opportunity also to think of alternative ways to achieve each move. In move 3, for example, students practice asking somebody if they are free, responding, making invitations, giving more information about the invitation, and accepting the invitation. In move 4, once the invitation has been accepted, they look at how to make arrangements, and then they close the conversation in move 5. After practicing the moves in section B, in section C, students are introduced to the dialogue in its entirety. They first predict the missing words or phrases in the dialogue, and this is usually language they've practiced already in section B. They then listen to the audio to check their guesses, and then they can practice the dialogue in pairs. Using highlight pens or just a regular pen, they then read through the dialogue again to code or identify the moves they've practiced in section B. So section D, they analyze the conversation. This helps them to reinforce their learning of the language that they've learned during the build section. If you're taking 2 lessons to do a unit, this would be a great place to end the first lesson. You can then pick up lesson 2 of a unit with section E. Section E is where students can review the moves they've learned in section B, the build section. And here, if students circle no to can they do the move, they can then go back to section B and practice again with a partner. In each unit, there is a Did You Notice section, which focuses students' attention on certain aspects of spoken language. Here in Unit 4, for example, it focuses on the fact that Jennifer's invitation and Mike's acceptance in the dialogue is all implied. There are usually 3 or 4 points per dialogue in the Did You Notice section. However, each conversation is very rich in language, and teachers may wish to focus on alternative points to bring attention to their students of aspects of spoken discourse. Moving on to section F, students create their own roleplay situations. And then in section G, this is the core output of each unit. Here, students use a voice recording application on their smartphones. I recommend Quick Voice, for example, and students interact with many classmates during this section, and they record each of their individual conversations on their smartphone. After the roleplay, students are given the chance to rate their performances and also to reflect on what they could do during the conversations and aspects that they would like to improve. Finally, in section H, students listen to their recordings and choose the best one that they would like to transcribe. These transcriptions could be used as part of the course assessment. They could also be used for peer correction, teacher correction, and feedback on individual performance. Section H provides students with a record of their interactions and progress through the course, rather than interactions being lost or forgotten as students walk out of the speaking class back into the L1 world, as may happen in regular speaking classes. Okay, thank you for listening to my presentation on Discover Conversation. I've gone through it very briefly. More information can be found on the Halico website. Also, the free audio download is available there. There is a teacher's book that will be available from early 2019. The teacher's book has the answers to all of the activities and ideas for classroom teaching. You can also contact English Books JP for more information, and I've also included my email address. Please feel free to email me with any questions, and I will be happy to reply. Thank you once again. Arigatou gozaimashita.